couple of you have spoken about alternate picking and looking to increase your speed, and I thought I'd just do a quick video because picture paints 1,000 words on how I do it and how I'm improving. Just to review the basics first of all. I'm using Chris's signature. There you go, 7 string. It's got GHS strings on it, 10 through to about 70 I think is what I use. That's the type of pick I'm using, so you can see it's got a nice pointy edge. It's the T3, this one's the 1.35mm. I have used the extremely pointed, almost triangular shaped tip one as well, but I find these go through the string a bit smoother. I'd also say make sure that your pick's not worn, because I know for me, if it's a worn pick, it grips the strings, it slows me down a lot, and what I want is the fact that every time I pick, it's the same. That's why I also use the thumb clip, because I find it holds the pick in exactly the same position, so as I am playing, the pick never moves, the pick never changes position, and everything's the same. So when you practice to when you're playing on stage, everything holds in the same position. So the sound or the exercise is like this. I'm using a B, Ionian mode, and we actually start at the top, and how we'll do it is we'll do the 3 notes per string, but we'll double those 3 notes before we move on to the next string, so it'll be a and then same on the ascent. Now the reason this is important that we're doubling it up is then it means that if we're starting with the downstroke first of all, every time we change string, we're actually staying on a downstroke, rather than if you just do it in 3s, you'll actually alternate between the strings, which again is a good way to practice, but for this one we're trying to make sure that we're focusing on starting with the downstroke on every string. We'll run through that to the click. So how you want to do it is set it so you get click, 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 click. So you're working with sextuplets. And then you'll do the same starting with the downstroke, so it'll be like, and then upstroke. By practicing both of those, what you're actually doing is teaching your hands and your mind that no matter where in the progression you are, you're actually able to keep that alternate picking going, so you're not having to stop and change to make sure that you're always starting on a downstroke, because that's what you prefer. So if we get the click, this is at about 80 initially. And we just run through that, so then we can knock the speed up a little bit more. So this should be about 100. So we just run through those, starting both with the down and an up. Best way to do it is to increase by 4 BPM each time. If you actually get to a point where you're finding it's getting a little bit too quick, as odd as this may sound, actually increase your BPM and try it another 4 or 8 BPM faster, and then go back to where you currently are, because you'll find by going faster than it and trying to go faster than it, going back to where you were before now feels easier, because it is important that you keep a relaxed feeling in your hand as you're practicing. What I normally find is that the first couple of times I run through it, I'm quite tense or quite stiff, or almost taking quite a lot of effort to play it, whereas by going above it and then coming back, it makes me relax a lot more, and I'm able to play faster, an awful lot easier. A second exercise which may be helpful to you is again using this B Ionian. Is the pattern, so we're just running up and down through the scale on that one, and again this is an important one to practice both starting with an upstroke and a downstroke, because what you want to be able to do is to be able to do both. It's quite an Yngwie-esque run, this one. So this is around the 80 again when the metronome settles itself, so you'll get this. And by practicing both that up and the downstroke, it doesn't matter where you are in your position, what you need to do with your run, because you'll be able to cope with it, because you'll be able to pass it over. Another kind of advancement of this, which you can kind of get onto, is that Paul Gilbert style. String skipping exercise. And again, this one, you'll generally find it's easier to start, or it works when you start with an upstroke first rather than downstroke. So yeah. And just running through that, you can obviously run through it in reverse, so you're ascending as well. And just doing those couple of exercises, it's really important to always practice with a metronome. I'm sure Chris always harps on about that to you, to say that use it and just use those increments. It's certainly a thing I picked up from John Petrucci, this building it in 4 BPMs, go beyond where you currently are, and then come back to it, because you'll find that all of a sudden you jump up. And I know with the first exercise, I've gone from maxing out at about 85 up to now I'm doing around the 105, 110 is kind of my limit before everything really falls apart. Have a go through it and let me know.